Welcome to Rezzed. I'm here with Phil Tossell from Tengami. He is a game creator, which is a wonderful little title there. Phil, tell me a bit more about Tengami.
So Tengami is our first game. We started Nyamyam, which is our company, a year and a half ago, and we've been working on Tengami since. Yeah. It's an adventure game. It's a very relaxed pace, and it's inspired by kind of Japanese themes and also with pop-up books.
I was taking a look at it, and we're going to show some footage of it in a second, but it because of the iOS structure and the fact that you're using the Apple platform for it, it's very hands-on, and that feels really good with the whole pop-up system. That to me feels like a great concept that you've utilized there.
Yeah, thank you. We designed it specifically around touch devices, specifically the iPad. Because we wanted that kind of tactile, kind of touch and feel, and that's really what the touch devices excel at.
So you mentioned that you were utilizing the touch interfaces there. I'm going to instantly jump in as one of our other guys asked me about this. Android. Have you got any plans for the near future, far future? Is there anything coming for those guys using those devices?
It's not. We haven't ruled it out completely. It's definitely a no at the moment, but it's mainly because of the size of the team. The fragmentation of Android and how we actually make money on it.
Yeah, so it's a case of if you really do successfully on the iOS platform, then you'll consider Android as a thing.
Yes.
There you go. So that answers Cal's question, which means he needs to buy it on the iOS before he'll get his Android version. So do you want to go ahead and show us some of your wonderful footage?
Sure. Okay, so this is the beginning. This is what you see when you first start up, which is just the Tengami book.
And you can instantly see before you go anywhere that it's got this wonderful kind of, it's already lifted very slightly and it's showing you exactly where you need with the giant circle of, it's very user-friendly in regards to this is where it all begins.
Yeah, so we wanted it to feel like the first time you kind of open a book and you start reading basically.
Yeah.
You start playing the game. And we experimented with just putting a little bit of movement on the pop-ups, so that to draw players' attention to it as well, and then the glow just adds to that.
I mean, the longer I look at it, I notice that the top cover of the book is actually waving slightly in the wind.
Yes,
which looks fantastic. So can we go ahead and open it?
Yeah. So the first bit of the game is basically just a little bit of a visual story, essentially.
Okay.
And there's going to be more stuff added to this at the moment. We've only just put this in. So at the moment, you basically just is setting the stage for the game.
The tree that we're seeing at the moment, that's actually, you've shown pictures of that, haven't you?
Yes.
It's instantly striking my brain as being something that I've seen before.
Yes, we've shown it it's actually on the booth art,
yeah.
But it's actually one of the key ideas in the game, which you'll find out more as you play the game.
Okay.
The idea is that this is kind of the tree of life, and it's kind of dying, and you have to restore life and dreams back into the world.
Okay. So, out of curiosity, what kind of length are you kind of going with for Tengami? Given that it's an iOS device, they're normally shorter length games than something that you'd see on a PC or a console. What are you going with?
Yeah, so we're going for. We're going for probably about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours tops.
That seems fair. Have you got a price in mind for the game already, or is that still in discussion?
At the moment, we've been aiming, since we started the game, we've been aiming for $2.99 as a price.
That for me instantly strikes something fantastic. As a gamer, I go on the belief of £1 an hour is a good price structure, and for that on an iOS device, I wouldn't expect to get 3 hours worth of time for a £3 game. The fact that you're doing that on an iOS device just appeals to me even more.
Yeah, the pricing structure on the App Store is quite competitive, so you kind of have to. We don't want to go like bargain basement, but we don't want to price ourselves out of it either. So it's going to be $2.99, maybe $3.99, depending on how prices evolve on the App Store over time.
Well, I've noticed that mobile gamers and the people that use the App Store a lot more, they're very kind of tight with their purse strings in regards to if you put it on there for £10, you will sell it, but at a very slower rate. Whereas if you set it down at the few pound mark, then you're going to get a lot more sales and you're going to get a lot more reviews, and that, of course, in turn gets you higher up the ranking. And then as soon as you're up there, that's it.
Yeah. So shall I just play through?
Yep.
So basically this is just a little bit of the story at the beginning. So you're just like turning the pages, the initial pages of the book.
And you can actually see the tree slowly fading away.
Yeah, so the flowers and the background, so it's kind of like spring, autumn, winter.
Yeah.
And then you turn to basically the start of the game and introduce the character. And then it's just double tap to move.
It's a wonderful. May I ask, why did you go with the double tap for movement rather than single tap? Was there any idea behind that, or was it just?
Yeah, the single tap. It's unlike a mouse. It's not. You can't distinguish it clearly enough. It interferes too much with other interactions that you might do.
Okay.
So when you come to interact with the pop-ups, sometimes you'd accidentally trigger a single tap.
Yeah,
instead.
that can be really infuriating when you're trying to do something, especially on the smaller screens like the iPhone itself. Because you're using a much smaller area, you're trying to do all these wonderful things, and it's just a case of you don't have the screen space, so you end up moving all over the place if it's a single tap.
Yeah, and that's why we haven't 100% decided that we're going to support the phones yet, because the smaller screen makes it hard to do a lot of the interactions.
Yeah. So I know there's a wolf up there in the background.
Yeah. So the wolf is like. He's an iconic character for the first level, basically. There's more than one of them, but he's used in various puzzles and just adds character and atmosphere to the game.
Wonderful. I mean, it really is kind of nice to see him stood there in the background. I mean, if the character was just there on its own, I feel that it would be a bit more of a lifeless scene, whereas you're really kind of going for this life feeling in the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, the backgrounds, the whole kind of game is kind of built around this idea of paper and like a pop-up. So the papers that we use on the background are actually like real Japanese papers.
Yeah.
To give it that kind of authentic feel.
So you mentioned that the game in general was just kind of this very Japanese themed thing. Do you mind if I ask where you got those kind of influences from, or why you wanted to take it to the Japanese? Why did you believe that was a good setting for this?
So the three of us that are in the company, myself, Jennifer, and Ria, our artist is actually Japanese.
Okay. So that kind of plays into it really in a big way then.
It was kind of things just came together. Jennifer's worked in Japan for 4 years. I love Japan. I've been there about 12 times.
So it was really kind of a passion project then?
Yeah, definitely. It's we're all really passionate about Japan, and I particularly like the kind of traditional side of Japan, which you don't see so much in games. It's more kind of action-y, kind of... Sorry. More action-y, ninja samurai. We wanted to bring the more kind of traditional aspects of Japanese culture.
I think that, in a game where you're trying to tell a story like this and you've got this wonderful art style, if you're passionate about it, that just adds even more life and even more to the game. And I feel that's really great that you've basically gone, okay, we all love this, let's make a game out of this. I feel that's one of the best ways to create a game. I love that, the bridge that you actually have to just open up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this game is basically, it's the game that we wanted to make. I mean, some people have asked, like, who do you think the audience is? And my answer is the audience is me. I mean, I wanted to make this game because it's the kind of thing I want to play now. As I've kind of got older, what I kind of enjoy playing has changed.
That works. I mean, the logic of, well, let's make a game that I would want to play, and because you're not going to be the only one that wants to play it. I mean, there's already, there's me, Xander, and Kel at Elden 3, and two of us want to play this game.
Yeah.
So I noticed that it's very... Are you going to actually go into the background at any point, or is it a case of there's stairs just as I say that, I notice? Are you going to be able to interact with those, or are they just part of the...
So the wolf basically howls, and he controls the stairs, so whenever you try opening it, he growls back at you. And if you open it, then he basically howls and shuts it again. So you have to figure out how to basically get it to stay open.
Okay, and then once it stays open, you actually go up them. Is that it?
Yep.
So it's nice that, just as I was actually about to ask that question, if I noticed it's very 2D, you actually then find the stairs that shows that, you know, there is going to be that third dimension going back up to the other levels.
Yeah.
And you can see the path in the background.
Yeah, it's a very gentle introduction. The first part is essentially very two-dimensional, and then we start to introduce kind of the more three-dimensional aspects.
Okay, so what kind of time release are you looking for this? How do you think it will be before we actually see it up on the store?
Probably about 6 months. We've been working on it for 1.5 years already. We're pretty happy. This is pretty representative of what the final game will be, sort of quality-wise. We'll obviously improve based on as we see people playing and people struggling.
Well, I mean, as it's a passion project, you want to get it right. You want to make sure that you do it justice, which to me that's a fantastic thing.
I mean, we haven't set a deadline for release. We're just going to basically keep going until we're happy with it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I can't wait to actually see this launched in the store. I will definitely be picking it up, and I'm sure there will be many more people. Things like this, fantastic, a great way to actually create a game. Thank you very much, Phil, for your time.
Thank you.
This has been wonderful, and thank you for letting us look at your game.
Thank you very much.